ಶ್ರೀ ಗಣೇಶ ಶಾರದಾ ಗುರುಭ್ಯೋ ನಮಃ. ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಾನಂದಂ ಪರಮಸುಖದಂ ಕೇವಲಂ ಜ್ಞಾನಮೂರ್ತಿಂ ದ್ವಂದ್ವಾತೀತಂ ಗಗನಸದೃಶಂ ತತ್ವಮಸ್ಯಾದಿಲಕ್ಷಂ ಏಕಂ ನಿತ್ಯಂ ವಿಮಲಮಚಲಂ ಸರ್ವಧಿ ಸಾಕ್ಷಿಭೂತಂ ಭಾವಾತೀತಂ ತ್ರಿಗುಣರಹಿತಂ ಸದ್ಗುರುಂ ತಂ ನಮಾಮಿ. Welcome to all for this session on Shri Guru Charitra to chapter 11, where we will going to see the birth of Shri Narasimha Sarasvathi as the next incarnation of Shri Guru Sripada Srivallabha. As we have seen in one of the previous chapter, Shri Guru had promised to a brahmin widow who brought his dull son for the blessings of Shri Guru. He promised her if she continues to perform Shani Pradosha vratha, he himself will going to be born as her son. An account of the brahmani who has been given to in the previous 8th chapter. She was worshipping Sri Shankara devotedly in the evening on Shani Pradosha, the 12th day of the fortnight falling on, that is a Dwadashi, that is falling on a Saturday. She lived in course of time and took the next birth in a brahmin family at Karanja in Berar. Her name was Amba Bhavani. She was married to a brahmin youth Madhava, who was also a devotee of Sri Shiva. As per her nature of the previous birth, Amba Bhavani worshipped Sri Shiva along with her husband devotedly. She became pregnant when she was 16 years old. Customary ceremonies were performed in the 3rd and 5th months. She used to have good desires. She advised people with high principles, filling of oti, that is a putting of corn, coconut, etc. in the open side of the saree worn by the woman in the 7th month, and Seemanti was also observed. After completing 9 months, a son was born to her. The baby uttered Om from the very birth. People wonder to see this. The astrologers foretold he will be a great ascetic and Jagat Guru. He will not marry, but will be known and revered all over the earth. Being an incarnation of God, he will wipe off all your miseries and fulfill your desires. The parents of the child were very much pleased to hear this. They gave money and clothes to the Brahmins in order that the baby may not suffer from the evil eye of any person. Lemon and salt were waved on him and thrown away. He was named Shaligramadeva, but his pet name was Narahari. He was later publicly known as Narasimha Sarasvathi. One day, Amba Bhavani or Amba told her husband that there was not sufficient milk in her breast for their baby, so let us have a feeding nurse or a sheep. Hearing this, the baby smiled and just touched the right pap of its mother. Immediately milk sprang out in 12 teats and her clothes became wet. Knowing thus that the baby was an incarnation of God, the parents bowed to him. The mother put the baby in a cradle and sang lullaby songs, but the baby would prefer to lay down on the floor and play cheerfully. The child became an year old, but it did not utter any other words except Om. The parents were anxious to see that the child speaks other words also. As days passed on, they were afraid of his being dumb. Some would say he has all the knowledge, but purposely he does not speak. The child became 7 years old. The parents could not know how to celebrate his sacred thread ceremony. As they were Brahmins, the thread ceremony was most essential. They worshipped Gauri, observed Pradosha and other fasts, but they were of no avail. They were now anxious to know how to make the child recite Gayatri Mantra, a mantra in prayer of sun god, which a Brahmin boy learns at the time of his sacred thread ceremony. Seeing the parents in dejected mood, the son would approach them and try to console them. Once he held an iron bar in his hand, and instantly it was turned into a gold bar. Seeing this, the parents were astonished. They gave him some more iron. That too was turned into gold. Then the parents asked the son when and how he would speak. He moved his hand in the sign language around his chest and loin and expressed that when the sacred thread would be worn and munja grass would be tied around his loin, he would speak. The parents were much pleased and they started enthusiastically the preparations for his thread ceremony. Still, some doubted the success of the function. The parents invited all the relatives, friends, and learned Brahmins for the function. The ceremony started on the first day. The chawla, shaving of the hair on the head, and dinner took place. Next day, after the bath of the boy, the sacred thread was put on his left shoulder. The boy dined with his mother and other boys of his age. The father then uttered Gayatri Mantra in the ears of the boy Narahari, who recited it in his mind. The mother then came with alms. After offering the first alms, the mother asked the boy to recite Rigveda, the first of the four Vedas. Narahari recited Agni Mile, a sacred mantra of Rigveda. After giving the second alms, the mother asked Narahari to recite Yajurveda. Narahari recited Yajurveda, Ishteva, etc. Ishatva, etc. After the third alms, Narahari recited Agna Ayahi from Samaveda, the third Veda. Thus people realized that Narahari had the knowledge of all the Vedas and they all bowed to him with reverence. Narahari then said to his mother, You have asked me to beg for alms. I would therefore live on begging, so also allow me to go to visit the holy places. Hearing this, the parents were much aggrieved. The mother fell on the ground senseless. After recouping, she said, We expected that you would take our care. So far, due to our misfortune, you are not speaking at all. Now, seeing that you can speak, we are much delighted and we think that our devotion to God has been fruitful. But now you are talking of leaving us, and this makes us very uneasy. Narahari then replied, You need not worry, need not be sorry. You shall have four sons, they will look after you very obediently. So saying, he placed his palm over her head. She instantly recollected her previous life and saw Sripada Srivallabha standing before her. She bowed to him humbly. Then Narahari raised her head and said, Mother, keep this a secret. We sannyasis keep ourselves aloof from family life. As I have to do my mission, please allow me to go. But the mother said, Dear son, do not go leaving us alone. No religion asks one to be in ascetic life in such a tender age. You should have brahmacharya ashrama for 12 years. The second is grihastha ashrama, the most important in all the four ashramas. After going through the third ashrama, namely vanaprastha ashrama, one become liable for the fourth ashrama, namely the sannyas ashrama. So say the Shastras, so study Vedas in Brahmacharya ashrama. Later on, get yourself married and have the pleasure of the family life, then perform sacrifices and thereafter become a sannyasi. But it is not desirable to be sannyasi in the childhood itself. Thus ended chapter 11 way of the Guru Charitra, where we saw the mother Amba Bhavani explaining to her son Narahari, saying that he should not go and attain his sannyasahood at the tender age of 8 years, and he requested him to stay with her for some more time so that she can hear to his lovely voice. नमस्ते शारदा देवी काश्मीरपुरवासिनी त्वामहं प्रार्थये नित्यं विद्यादानं च देहि मे. Goodbye.